All right, I got a lot of things I want to go over in this one, so I'm going to try and keep things moving here. But yeah, Bitcoin has so far gotten a bit of a rejection from this high time frame area of resistance that I've been talking about for multiple videos at this point. I mentioned this area pretty much as soon as we lost the value area low. So I've been looking at this zone for probably about a week at this point, which for a reminder, I got this box labeled value area lows or Vals, Valerie's. This is Valerie right here if you've never met her. And yeah, I am going to take credit for that joke. I believe I was the first person to say that, at least in Jason Casper's comment section. So yeah, trademarked. This is Valerie. And essentially, the main point of this idea is, all right, well, we're trading in this range. We put in all-time high. We retraced. We put in a low. Now we're trading within those 2 points. We just fell below the value area low and broke down below it pretty significantly, right? We didn't just like SFP or deviate it like we kind of did up here. We broke down below it and we stayed below it for a while. So because of that, and because of the fact that we hadn't hit the actual range low yet, I'm still looking at this as a target. I thought it made sense to backtest the value area lows before potentially moving lower. At this point, we have backtested the value area lows. We have gotten a bit of a rejection. Now the question is this rejection going to actually take us down to these higher time frame targets? First being this low and the actual range low. And so that's a question I want to explore. I'll start off by doing some top-down analysis on Market Cipher, and I may even take a look at some local price action here as well. I am looking to scalp, and I will also say right now I'm only in one short trade. Unfortunately, you don't get to trade every single one of your ideas that you plan. I was waiting for, a good opportunity to short this. There were multiple good opportunities to short this. There were confirmations here, and also on this high, but I didn't take any of them. Just wasn't around. Wasn't in the right place at the right time. So once price actually, started breaking this local range to the downside, I started looking for some short opportunities, and unfortunately, it just didn't want to give me one. At least not one that I was willing to take. I am, still in a short from right over here. I entered this short a long time ago. My stop loss is on my entry, and it did not get hit. And now this short is back in some pretty good profits. Let's just start from the top down. Let's go to the weekly. We have not had another weekly candle print, so there's not going to be much changed here. Does not look like anything has changed. This is how it was looking the last time I looked at it, so we'll go down to the daily. And here on the daily is something quite interesting. So I talked about this momentum wave, big fat anchor wave, very oversold wave. And, I was potentially looking at this as being the thing that prevents us from actually hitting the range low. Now, I wasn't super confident in that. If you watched my previous videos, you'll know why. I'll quickly go over the reason why. It's really because there weren't any good confirmations on this low. Now, there is one thing that you could say is a bit of a divergence, and that would be a hidden bullish divergence with momentum putting in a lower low here, yet price put in a higher low. And also, in general, this is just a very oversold wave. You can't expect momentum to just continue down forever. Eventually, it has to reverse. It has to pull to the upside. It doesn't always have to pull price with it as it pulls to the upside. Sometimes you can see momentum get a move to the upside, and price just kind of ranges sideways, kind of similar to what we saw here. Momentum, got a pretty decent move to the upside. It kind of reclaimed about half of this wave, and price just kind of ranged here. Now, the reason I didn't like this low is because, going down to the 4 hour, the 3 hour, the 2 hour, the 1 hour, there was no regular bullish divergences as we came down to put in this low to really confirm this as, a significant hidden bullish div. I like to see local confirmations to really give me confidence in something like a hidden bearish div, because, hidden bearish divs are kind of hit or miss. You see them often. They don't always work out, but if there is other confirmations pointing to it working out, or if there's just, in general, reasons why a hidden bullish div should work, then I found they work better. In this case, we didn't hit my target. There weren't 4 hour bullish divs on that low. Momentum and money flow put in lower lows along with price. So, in general, I wasn't really liking how it looked. Now, looking at the daily time frame, we can see that we have a red dot here. It looks like money flow is also starting to curve back to the downside. There, was for a little bit a nice curvature here with money flow. that has started to flop over now, though. So it seems like I was right to not trust this daily bottoming momentum wave and really, just completely trust it blindly and think that it has to give us a rotation. Again, one more reason for that is because we were below key resistance. We were still below the value area low. That was kind of my line in the sand. If we could reclaim the value area low, then I would definitely be looking at the possibility of a range rotation much more. I would be looking at the possibility of this marking a significant low, but we were unable to get above the value area low, so what I expected to happen happened. We rejected from it, at least at this point. Looking at the 4 hour, we see money flow moving to the downside. We see that momentum got this very large move to the upside. It got above the 60 line. And if you watched my last video, you'll know that, I was looking at some potential bearish signs here with the hidden bearish divs that we saw, which, is the opposite of the hidden bullish div that we saw on this low, with momentum putting in a lower low as price put in a higher low. In this case, price put in a lower high as momentum put in a higher high compared to all these little trigger waves back here. And that was forming as we were running into key resistance. Now, my question is, were there low time frame confirmations, low time frame divs here that could have gave more credence to this idea? And going down to the 1 hour, you can see there certainly was. There was a bearish div right here with money flow and momentum. Price put in a slightly higher high at SFP, the local range high, with bearish divergences, which in my opinion confirmed the hidden bullish div theory, or at least gave it a higher probability of working out. And really what confirmed it for me was breaking structure following that. So that is what I mean by I'd like to see other confirmations to really give me confidence in a hidden bullish div or a hidden bearish div. That was a great example right here. And, for extra bonus points, this was happening in a very key area, a significant area on the higher time frames. Now, do I wish I just took this SFP trade and was done with it, was in a short from this exact high? Yeah, I do. But this is not a genie lamp. You can't just make a wish and have it happen. You have to plan for these things and be ready for them. And, well, I did plan for it. I just wasn't ready when it happened. And, it is what it is. And before I move on from Market Cipher, I'll click through the 3 hour, through the 1 hour, just to see how things are looking. Actually, going back to the 4 hour, I was looking at this as potentially being some curvature in money flow, looking across to the upside. However, we found resistance right before the zero line. It was unable to get into the green. Now it is kind of flopping back over. It's, again, just kind of looking like a plateau of money flow is going flat. That, plus the fact that money flow is moving to the downside locally, I think gives me confidence in saying that, there's a good chance we continue moving lower, especially if money flow starts to put in lower lows. So if we start to see money flow get down below this wave right here, I think that is a pretty good confirmation to say, all right, we're probably going to continue lower, most likely down to the range low, maybe just to this internal range low, but I think the higher time frame one is more significant. But again, we have to keep in mind this range has been known to front run key levels. So we may not hit that macro level, that really important range level. 3 hour pretty much looks the same. We actually were able to get money flow up into the green a little bit, but we just formed this very tiny trigger wave, and now money flow is again plummeting. And I think the same thing applies if we start putting in lower lows. That's a pretty bearish sign in my opinion. And, maybe it just ends up kind of going flat. Maybe we see a little bounce of money flow here, and it just kind of keeps doing this while price either continues to range locally in this rectangle right here. Maybe we can see a bit of rotation in this area, or maybe it just continues working its way to the downside as money flow kind of goes flat. I'd just say overall, money flow has been looking bearish for a while, and now we're seeing local bearishness to go along with that. So, at the very least, I can say money flow is not looking bullish, in my opinion. 2 hour, same thing with money flow. Momentum is trying to bottom out here. We have a BitBoy green dot. That lime green dot down there is a bit of a stronger sign for an oversold wave. So, that could give us a temporary bounce. We are seeing a lot of time frames, approaching that point where we would get, at least maybe a temporary bottom with momentum. But, going down to the 1 hour, if I clean up this mess, we kind of saw a bunch of temporary bottoms here on the 1 hour, and it just continued lower every time. Could we just kind of see that continue? Sure, we definitely could, especially considering how money flow looks right now, where it is literally just free falling. So the mid time frames are showing bearishness. The daily is showing bearishness. With the daily and the 4 hour through the 1 hour, it is still at this point looking more likely that we continue rotating to the downside. So now talking more locally, to kind of show you where we are, just so we don't get lost, because I am looking at literally Russian dollar ranges here, ranges, within larger ranges. So to not get confused. I'm looking at this kind of medium time frame range where we put in this low on the 24th of June. This is the rejection from the value area lows, so I'm kind of looking at this mid time frame range now. We have gotten a move down to the value area low of the range. This is a significant point. We also SFP'd this low right over here, maybe grabbed some liquidity from there that was sitting below the value area low. And there is a bit of a buying wick here, so potentially we see a bit of a rotation in the short term. But the way that market Cipher is looking at the moment, I'm not super keen on jumping into any longs without a proper setup. And I think I would like to see at least some lower highs in this downtrend get taken out before I start looking for longs. So right now I am looking at this high right here. If we start closing above this significantly and then we get some kind of a retrace, maybe to come back to back test value area low for support, that is a potential idea. And I am also looking at this very local scalping range, which, again, to not get lost, that is where it's at. And, there could potentially be a short idea from here. We actually just SFP'd that lower high I was looking at. And I am looking for scalp trades within this range, even if it's a short at the, value area low of a larger range. If I'm trading this range as context, and if the higher time frames are backing it up, I am fine with taking a scalp trade and de-risking it in the local context. So I have a decision right now. Do I want to short this? Let's go down to some low time frames. I'm not seeing any divs yet. Not really seeing any divs on the 1 minute either. Money flow is kind of looking bullish here. Slight momentum div, but not a clear sign for sure. I think if we start losing a higher low like this, though, then I could potentially look at a short idea. Risk reward would probably be compromised waiting for those extra confirmations, but I think it's worth it. And really, I'd only short it if we get some kind of back test after that confirmation to give me decent risk reward. So that is a local idea. And right now, Bitcoin is in a pretty aggressive downtrend that very well could continue. We don't have to stop at value area low just because of support. I think there is some more significant targets below us, and the higher time frames are kind of pointing to us moving to those higher time frame targets. Doesn't mean that this trade idea has to take us down to there. This could just be a temporary idea before we end up going higher and then maybe dumping later. Those kind of things are always possible. But if I can find some kind of a valid scalp idea, which I can de-risk locally and hold some of the trade for if we make a move for those higher time frame targets, then why wouldn't I? So I think I'm going to end the recording, and if I end up taking a scalp trade here, then I will add that into the video, and if not, then I'll just upload this as it is. And I just finished editing that video that you just watched, and I have decided I'll just upload that on its own. I have made a few more recordings talking about this short trade that I'm in right now, and I think I'm going to upload that as a separate video. I might continue scalping for the rest of the day, and we'll see if we can get a couple trades in, or maybe this trade ends up being, enough for me. Maybe we just dump and, I'll just talk about how I managed this. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm going to make another video, so I will just upload this one now. So thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, and leaving a comment. I really appreciate all of the support on the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.